Okay, folks, here we are. Let's pick up where we left off. A little bit later start than I wanted, but I stayed up a little too late last night, and my alarm went off, and I slept an extra hour and a half. So, Mr. Gert, willkommen. Top of the morning to you, or happy lunchtime for you. Thanks for coming by. See if we can get this Russian guy done. One step closer to working on the next, folks. Let's see if I can get away with doing this. Can I make this bigger? There's some interesting options here. Greetings from the Red Planet. You like that, huh? Let me ask you this. Did you like the movie? I haven't seen it. I started to, and I think I might have gotten like 10 minutes in, and I got sidetracked into something else, and it's no longer available. It was one of those things that had mixed reviews, and I have a feeling that I think it's based on a book, isn't it? I don't have time to read nonfiction, or I don't even have time to have read nonfiction read to me. There's only a handful of books that I've read nonfiction on my own by choice, and I mean handful, like maybe less than 10, definitely less than 10, and there's just too many cool things that happen in real life. You know, I can use them in wargaming. That's the thing, is I'm working on my wargaming degree. No, I mean I want to learn. I've always had an interest in learning. On a different subject, came across somebody the other day, and I was mentioning to someone else, and I said, "Man, I don't think they're very bright." And they said, "Well, that's because they didn't go to college. Going to college doesn't make you bright or not. I don't have a I don't have an advanced degree. I have a degree, but I don't have an advanced degree. I just got tired of doing stuff just to do stuff. It's not that intelligently I couldn't handle it, but I've always had a keen interest in learning things. May not be something that you could make money off of or you could support yourself, but Daja Thoris says hi. No, you didn't like the film. Kevin's back again. Man, it's early for you, dude. You need to get some sleep. Nah, not really. You know what? You're just up at the time that I would wake up, or maybe you stayed up all night. That's probably what it is. College makes some folks dumber. Isn't that the truth? Um, you know what? I think college makes people dumber if they don't have the right role models in life. And I don't necessarily agree with everything my parents did, but it's not like, okay, Sonny, go to college and learn everything you're going to know. No. There's some things that society approves of that I do not. And yeah. Dirk, welcome. So there's a couple things. It's funny, the things that people taught me in college. I didn't learn a whole lot about history in college, and I took history for all my electives. I do not have a history degree. My dad was like, "You are not getting a history degree because you cannot. You need to be able to put food on the table." He was right. It was the right move, and I don't like to write. Um, Often they come out with purple hair, piercings, or tattoos. Yeah, I've had none of those, and I can't see myself ever having either one of those. Maybe a lobotomy first. People want to do that stuff. That's cool. Not me. Um, but I used history as electives, and because I wasn't doing it for the elective purposes. I really wanted to get something out of the class, but I don't like writing things. Um, and it's not because I don't like doing the research. I don't like doing it's the process of it. It's the analysis paralysis. Just like some of you guys don't like to paint. Well, I don't like to get hung up on how to say when I want to do it. Starting papers again. No, I'm still working on these bloody Russians. Got this guy and four more. And then as soon as these guys, because I'm going to have to seal them. While they're sealing them, yes, we're going to roll right into the papals. Assuming I don't get sidetracked and do somebody else instead first. If I do that, it's because I found somebody even cooler. So put the commies away. Well, communism hadn't been invented yet. Well, that's not true. There was serfdom, and commies are all serfs. So maybe in this time period there was less serfs than there were in communism. Now you're thinking though, somebody else that doesn't like commies, I like it. So I found out some of you guys do Facebook and some of you guys don't. I had an incident happen a couple of months ago. I know I mentioned it earlier about posting a funny meme that, in my opinion, wasn't controversial and involved Churchill and Hitler on it. It was done in humor. It did not promote the guy with a mustache, which I would never do. But they had a problem with it. And I'm like, but yet you can put GIFs and everything with Stalin and it's totally fine. So I'm fine with them banning stuff of Hitler because, you don't want people going out promoting him. But the other guy was, I guess maybe because he killed everybody equally, regardless of where they were from. He's okay. Yeah, you can post all kinds of Stalin stuff on there. You can even put GIFs and everything of them. So it's like, oh well. Yeah, I don't care that much they're that free speech supposedly is curbed because it is their private platform. But I do want dictators to be treated equally, regardless of what supposed wing they're of. And I say that because people like to say that one's one wing and one's the other, and I don't even know if it's two different sides of the same coin. It's almost like the same two different edges of the same side of the coin. But anyhow, whatever. They just don't know what real humor is. I grew up at a time where we just made fun of everything, and you just get on with life. Don't take it so personal. And I will continue to live my life that way, whether or not it's popular. slowly turning into Clint Eastwood with a shotgun on his porch, right? Rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, that's the one. That's a wonderful meme. It's wonderful. Whoever came up with that should have come up with should have had a Nobel Prize. It's brilliant. It's it's succinct, and using them college words, and it's elegant and it is humorous. So, and it's a good thing paper lost. I agree with you, Dirk. There's a guy who does. I talked about it last night. There's a guy who does some really interesting history videos. He's not a historian. He's a guy who he is on Facebook. I'm not Facebook. He's on. I don't think he's on Facebook. He's on YouTube. He does a lot of videos. He does a lot of really good wargaming video content. And the reason I found him was I was doing a search for one of my favorite games called Close Combat. I used to play all the time. It's a computer game. It's a wonderful game, and he does a lot of reviews of it. And he claims that when he got started, he played that game a lot, and it created this interest in history in World War II. So he started doing some research, and he found out that a lot of the things that he learned growing up about World War II are kind of been turned on their head because of opening the Russian archives. And that's kind of my situation as well. I was big into World War II in the 80s and 90s. And, it's not that what the Russians wrote is accurate, but it's at least another point of view instead of you have the Western allies that wrote stuff and then the German generals. And he has a lot of interesting points. His name is Tick, Tik. Now, I'm not saying he is the word of God, but he at least does question those accepted things that people my age and older pretty much learned about World War II. And one of the things that he has is he talks about, is Hitler really a socialist, and is he left wing or right wing? It's really interesting stuff. I don't know that I agree with him. I don't really have that big of opinion on political stuff like that. It doesn't really matter to me what he was, other than a vile person. But you know, it's interesting. He's got a really good videos. The best videos of his though, he'll do a whole series on, like, say, Stalingrad, and he'll talk about all the units. And he uses counters and graphics and everything, and he'll go into the city and he'll say, okay, this unit's here and the subunits are here. So if you're interested in it from a wargaming standpoint, it's amazing. He did that with Stalingrad, and I mean, it's like 30 or 40 different series of just day by day or week by week or whatever it was that he did. And he did was it Operation Crusader or Battle Axe? One of the two that he did. I think it was Operation Crusader, and as well. So he's got some really good videos. He's got some good video talent. But the things that you're used to thinking, or that we learned in school, or that we read about in this 80s and before, it's kind of questions like, okay, is this really his famous go-to phrases, but is that really the case? And he goes in and he claims he's quit his job, and that's what he does now. So good for him. It's a different viewpoint than what we're used to. I'm okay to question things that we thought were all a certain way. But Tik is his name. Tick is his handle. I guess when I become famous, I have to change my name of my channel. I'm not going to do that. It's too confusing. I'll wake up and don't know who I am that morning. All right, let's get a and Kevin, the comment you just made, it says it's held for review. Why? We're going to show it. There's absolutely nothing wrong you put on there. A movie called Conquest about Russians fighting Mongols. Not sure the time period, but Russians are wearing tricorner hats. So that would have had to be, they may have come out around 1680, 1690. So it's either out of period or it's talking about how Russia took over Siberia or that area. Interesting. Conquest. Got to be careful with those Russia movies. You'd think U.S. movies from the 1950s and 60s were propaganda films. Oh man, you've got those Russia movies are terrible. Oh, it is Siberia. Okay, well there you go. Might be interesting. There's um there's two movies that came out almost at the same time, or I don't know if they came out at the same time or watched them at the same time. One of them is the Polish series by Fire and Sword, and the other one is a Russian movie called, I want to say, 1612. And they cover the same period, but they're totally opposite in how they portray their enemy, and it's just really hilarious. Um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with. I really haven't given it much thought. I'm not really interested in political videos. It's, I'm interested in warfare, and that kind of stuff. So I won't even read a book like on Eisenhower or something like that. It's just too zoomed out. It's not what I'm interested in. So, Martian, there we go. Welcome, welcome. It's just not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in small unit tactics, and ideology is not really my thing. But yeah, the Russian movies are really, they're heavy on propaganda. Well, it's kind of like the movies that I've seen in German obviously don't portray it in a good light for obvious reasons. Because first of all, it wasn't, and they've they've gone to the extreme. And in the other case, I like to say we rent a lot of vehicles, and every time we rent a German vehicle, they have that thing that your your car turns off when it's idling, and you can't disable that. You can disable it once the car is running, but so they went from taking over the world to saving the world. It did a 180 on that. But the Russians, it seems like, even though they portray, even though communism was bad, they're still in this nationalistic thing. It's like, well, we're gonna promote it, even though in it for the sake of nationalism, and the Germans don't do that. So it's okay. You're not gonna fool me. So I can watch propaganda in things and not be affected by reality of stuff. So, but again, it does the same thing with a movie. Most people do not read about history, and the first thing they see, they assume that that is the word of God. Like that's why a movie such as, say, Braveheart is so damaging, because that may be what most people know about that conflict, and if it's totally wrong, then people are learning wrong stuff. I know it is entertainment, but that's human nature. They're gonna, you know, they see one thing and that's how they think everything is. Braveheart, everybody's favorite movie, right? What was the one thing that was the worst thing about that movie? It wasn't the blue boat. It was that whole rule that the king had first picks on somebody being first rights to the girl on the wedding night. Wow, whatever that's called, prima whatever. Yeah, in the whole kingdom, man. If people are getting married every night, man, that king's got to be driving around. He's got to be riding around to different places. Or maybe they bring everybody to him. Anyway, either way, he better be eating a lot of oysters. Movie makers think viewers are stupid. They're right. It's that movie makers are stupid too. Many people apply modern morals to historical periods. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we want to see it because we want to see, knights charging into heavy foot or whatever it is that we want to see. All right. Here's me black. There we go. Let's get a little bit of this going. Do the handle. Then we could do the saddle. We gotta put the coffee somewhere else, or I'm gonna end up putting this in the coffee. Not that it's the end of the world. It is water-based paint. It's probably healthier for me than Coke Zero anyway, so. I caught you live. Yeah, it's been a little while. You're almost always here though. It's not the same without you. don't need people to apply morals to my stuff. I have my own. Thank you. There's a couple of cinemas that I think that are kind of underused. One of them is, and I know I've said this before, is the Japanese one. Like the Koreans do a lot of historical stuff. Whether or not it's accurate is a different matter. I don't really know. I haven't seen that many of them. But the Koreans do a lot of historical stuff. The Chinese do some, and the Japanese do like none. And it's a shame because you could have a really, really good samurai movies. I mean, but that's extremely underused, you know. Other than Ron, which I watched it, and it was all right, but you know, it was fake clans with a Shakespeare storyline, which was, I'm not going to say I was offended, but it was insulting. You know, it's like we could be, there's not enough known about these Far East type of mythologies or whatever. Like, here's your opportunity to show the public. It's not like, well, we'll just do Shakespeare in Japan. Like, what? Again, they just want to make a quick buck. We want a good story. But yeah, there's Japanese cinema really is not, doesn't focus on that stuff. And you would think, man, they've got a wealth of information to do. But that's why I don't really watch any movies because there's just not that many that are exciting. Occasionally, I'll come across one that's good, but it's few and far between. Or they pick a story based to try to push a certain point, like Kingdom of Heaven. I would have never picked that Crusade. You do the first one, or you do the third one, or you do one of the other ones. You don't do that theme. The first Crusade is just like, man, you can't make this stuff up. You know. If I'm watching your videos after the event, I can't shoot my mouth off. Don't take this the wrong way, but you don't shoot your mouth off. You bring up good things. Been watching season 4 of The Handmaiden's Tale. I'm starting to lose interest after episode 3. It's gone a bit SJW. That's the one that's always announced on Hulu every time I turn Hulu on, and I'm like, man, that's one ugly looking dude. Oh, wait, that's a woman. Not gonna get me to watch it. Sorry. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I enjoy watching things that people are easy on the eyes. At least the main character. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Everything is SJW. Whatever. They're not gonna convert me. You know. Yeah, those people are almost worse than communists. I said almost. Um, oh, I did have some people I've come across on Facebook that, whether kidding or not, they said, well, I'm just a devout communist or something like that. And it's a good thing I don't have connections. Let's put it that way. Yeah, this new generation of people are just really. The Eternal Zero. Handmaid's Tale. America is in civil war. Hey, that happened. The religious hardliners have taken over, making people live like the olden days. Interesting. Huh. So it's kind of like that movie that I never saw, but somebody told me what the plot was. The Village, except it's a whole country. So it's like a civil war and the Amish win. That's really disappointing. Do they ban alcohol? Because I'm taking up arms if they do. Not because I need to drink, but just on principle. You know, you can believe whatever you want, but you're not allowed to infringe on other people. You know, and I don't have to agree with you. It's not like, well, we believe the moon is made of cheese. Well, sorry. Oh man, alcohol is banned. Oh no. Now keep in mind, it's not a big part of my life. I just don't like somebody to say that I can't have it. Hey, and it's part of my Latin heritage, damn it. It's like to say, we're going to ban all olive oil. Screw you. We're going to war. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't watch that. Sounds like I'm already getting angry. You get assigned a role in society like farmer. Oh, so it's non drinking communist, religious communist. Oh, it's really 4 seasons already? Wow, I thought it just came out. Yeah, I don't really follow things. That's interesting. Well, I've said this before. I'll give anything 10 minutes. If after 10 minutes I'm not captivated or want more, I won't watch it. Yeah, I see that advertised all the time when I turn on Hulu. I believe it's on Hulu. I believe it's Hulu, not Netflix. I don't have cable. I just have Hulu, Netflix, and that's enough. You could have all the channels in the world and you still can't find anything to watch. So why spend a ton of money on it? So I need to get a little red strap. It's underneath the horse here, so we'll go back and do that. Yeah, I don't. In this day and age, I don't like being told I can or can't do anything. I've figured out what the rules of society should be by this point, and you know, and I'm not corruptible, so I don't really. I'm not a fan of anybody telling me I can't do this, especially when I was able to do it the previous year. So I don't know. Maybe a show that pisses me off. Maybe it makes you think. I do enjoy television that makes you think. I don't watch much of it because most of it is mindless. But if it's something that does make you think, it's interesting. I've been enjoying. I had my second win and was enjoying the Dark Mirror stuff because even though most of the episodes aren't anything spectacular, it does make you think. So, what about guns? I'm not going to talk about guns here. Hey, I walked right into the Pentagon without any problems. So, with my background, I should be able to have anything I want. Hey, if I was going to go crazy, I wouldn't have waited until I was 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? If they ban alcohol, I'm off to the plumbing supplies to buy some copper piping. Moonshine, chaps. You know, the only reason it's illegal is because it's not taxable, which that's a crap reason for things to be illegal. Makes me laugh that America has always fought against communism and thank them for that. Yes, but not all Americans have fought against it. Um, and now wants to adopt communism in one or another form. I don't know about that. I think there's a lot of ignorant people that just have had really shitty parents. Um, do you have any Russian foot to paint after you finish the cavalry? No, they're already done. I just don't know them where they are. I show them to you guys. They're in one of these bins. I don't know where they are. That changed subject. Great news. See, people just arrived. Last shipment from UK took about a month and had to drive to customs to pick it up. I don't know how you guys put up with that. Shipment came straight to my door and they delivered on a Saturday with no extra charges. I like that. The last shipment from the UK took about a month, had to drive to customs, pay a tax, but now it came to your door with no tax. That's how it should be. They should they should tax your income or tax your purchases, but not both. But nobody asked me. Look, they're not going to balance their money anyways, so why give them more money? They don't know how to spend money, so why give them more money? Yeah, we're not going to turn this to a gun show. Let's just say that just about as I've gotten older and older, I've become more and more libertarian. So I'm pretty libertarian view on everything. I don't need to make people conform to a certain way, but just need to leave each other alone. I'm expecting a shipment from museum managers. I'm curious if it gets fast tracked as well. They were super. That guy's excellent on shipping. I've gotten things across the pond in less than a week. And of course, with the new shipping things, everything's up in the air. Even things within the states just take forever to ship now. It's a pain in the ass. So, Australian government's got to sneak out overseas purchases. They now get Visa, etc., to add an extra 10% goods tax on your soldiers. Visa collects the tax for the government and gets paid a fee. Well, that's bad, but it's better than your things being held for ransom and then you have to physically go to the post office or somewhere to pay them. Because I'm gonna write it on my tombstone: is Tony does not go to the post office. I'm not going. I'm not going there. I had something that I ordered a couple of weeks ago, and not only did the postal service flat out didn't deliver it within the time frame. It was supposed to be delivered between, say, 16th and the 19th. On the 22nd, I get notice it's out for delivery tonight. You should have it by a certain time. And then 1 hour before that cutoff, I got a notification because I kept checking on it. It says this shipment is being held at the local post office per the customer's request. So you missed the date by 4 days. You didn't deliver it 3 days later when you said you were going to, and then you put on there that I told you, so you're making a liar out of me, that to hold it at the post office, which I would rather, shit my pants in public than go to the freaking post office. That is a incredibly horrible place to go to. I can only go during my lunch break, which is, holy hour. And, everybody there is in a bad mood. And, now with a mask thing, everybody there is in a bad mood. And, now with a mask thing, everybody's waiting and, the line's 600 feet long. And no, I'm not, I don't have the time. I'm too employed to go to the post office. So there's less international planes now. So that adds freight times. Okay, I could see that. Yeah. It's one thing to be lied to. It's another thing to say, "Oh, you said that this is what." Oh, so now you're lying to me and making me a liar. Where's my broadsword? Wait, that's not my people. Where's my rapier? I call them. I have now called them the United States Postal Disservice. So, and meanwhile, you order something from Amazon, and they lie to you too. They say it'll be there on Wednesday, and it shows up on Monday. They show up early. So don't tell me it can't be done. It can't be done with your infrastructure and your incompetence. Just don't tell me when it's coming. Oh well. First world problems, right? Let's lighten this up a little bit more. We need some contrast off that shirt. one thing is you don't want to paint these things in all these different colors and then pick colors that are so close to the color next to it that it looks like you got lazy and only used the same color. So, speaking of lazy and looking like you use the same color, we're going to use the same color on the reins. Hey, they aren't right next to each other. Paul, thanks for coming by. Have a good day. Good evening. Yeah. You made a mistake ordering from a museum and phoned him on Monday to follow up. Chatted for 45 minutes, and I really enjoyed talking to Dave. I then reordered lots of miscellaneous stuff for the medieval Germans. Tell him I said hi. Museum miniatures are too big. It depends on the miniature. Some of them are small. I don't understand why his scales are all over the place, but it's okay. I mean, you know what you're getting into, so he still doesn't have pictures of all his figures online. He's got 80% of them probably, but not all of them. I have had nothing but good service from him. And his new line, his Z miniatures, I've seen them on the computer and I'm not impressed. I've seen pictures of what they look like on their item listing and I'm not impressed because it all looks like the same figure. In other words, it's folks that have really prominent features and they all look the same. But I've seen them in the flesh and they look good in the flesh. So I don't think they're a good representation of what the figures end up looking like, his computer renderings. So I just have to, I have a hard time justifying buying more stuff unless I absolutely have to. It just doesn't feel good, you know? It feels good to use the stuff you already have. So, okay, the reins are on this guy, done. There's very little bit of the belt showing here. In my next couple projects, though, I am going to have to order something, but I'll put it off as long as I can. But it's not a whole lot of stuff. I mentioned your name and your videos, and that this prompted me to check his website. Yeah, yeah, he's a nice fellow. I had a similar experience like that. And I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, I know who it is. It was another when I was doing 20 millimeter stuff. This guy that carried the stuff that I liked out in Massachusetts, and I talked to him for a long time too. Yeah, and you could tell some folks are really doing their job for their love of the hobby. You know, I'm glad he seems to be able to make a living from it. I find that extraordinary. And hopefully, this situation we found ourselves into in the last couple of years, these people in the hobby are doing well because of it. Something good has to come of it, right? All right, what do we got left? We got the shield rim. Guy's leather hand. Oh, looks like he's got an undershirt there. All right, well, we'll just assume we'll just do that on white here. When in doubt, you just use white linen because that's the easiest to come by. The very end of the sleeve. I glued these spears in a long time ago, and I didn't do as clean a job as I would now. But I don't want to take them apart either, so I laid the epoxy kind of thick in a few places. But that was done 5 years ago, probably, maybe longer. I thought I wasn't getting better in my painting, but I guess I am because I did look at something that I did a few years ago, and I don't think it's up to standards. It's not bad, but I did it when I wasn't painting with my contacts, and I feel like I've got a little bit better attention to detail now than I do. Oh, we can't forget the Nuln oil. We need to go ahead and do that so I can dry and we can go over that. 11 folks. Yes, Saturdays are popular. Thanks for coming by, folks. Chainmail as good as it is. We'll just do it on the hat. All right. Mane, doing that last. It's going to be a lighter color. It's not going to be black. What else we got on this? We got the shield rim to do. Let me see if I can get this little piece. There we go. Of the decal. I don't know how this is going to seal, because right now part of the decal looks like it's coming up. We'll see. We'll let it ride. What's the worst thing that can happen? I just put a new decal over it later. I said I much prefer. I probably will not be buying any more shield decals from these guys. It's just too hit or miss. The decals are nice. It's just the application method that I'm not particularly fond of. And I enjoy painting shields. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm not doing one of the things I enjoy doing the most. Honestly, when I bought them, I thought they were water slide decals. It doesn't matter what they were. I was going to give them a shot anyways. I think that's what we're going to go with there. paint some wood on the back of the shield because it's showing, unfortunately. I'm not a big fan of painting the back of the shields because if they're not visible, then why am I even spending my time on it? One of my favorite sayings that I claim to have coined, not that I coined that many sayings, but just because you don't value my time, it doesn't mean I don't value my time. So I'm sure somebody said something similar to that. I just didn't hear them say that. So they just made an announcement last night about our convention situation here. We're still up in the air. We have two conventions semi-locally. It's still an hour and a half away that we haven't had since 2019. And it was still up in the air whether or not they were going to do one in September. And supposedly it's going forward. So we'll see if that happens. Hopefully it goes forward for those people that want to attend. Mitch and I will not be running games at it. I don't plan on going to any conventions until things get back to how they were in 2019. So I'm not playing with, hey, I obey the rules, but if I don't like the rules, nothing says I have to do this, that or the other. So, and we game every week, and like I said, we put on a game, just Mitch and I play, and hundreds of people will watch it, right? We go to a convention, put on a game, and if we're lucky, 12 people show up. So I would rather entertain hundreds of people than 12. So, and they have the rules why, you got to do this and you got to wear a mask all day, and that's fine. I appreciate that, but for me, going to convention is not about playing games. It's about hanging out with folks that we have a common interest. And if I can't understand anybody, what they're saying, which I don't have the best hearing. I mean, I hear people, which is even more annoying. I hear them, but then I don't understand them. It's just not worth it for me. So I'll just wait till things get back to normal. Other people can go; they can have a good time. And I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm going to go and I'm going to show them who the boss is. No, it's your house. You make the rules, but if I don't like your rules, doesn't mean I have to come visit. So we'll just wait till. I still don't think it's going to go off, but we will see. Your house, your rules, right? But I don't. The thing I look forward to the most is grab a beer and do stuff with other folks. You can actually grab a beer. You just can't play a game, like that. I don't need to game that badly. I mean, we game every week, almost. Rumors of our Comic Con convention will take place. Yeah, I'll go to shows and whatever when there's not. When we go back to the no restrictions or restrictions how they were before. And I'm not going to poo-poo people that want to go. They want to go, that's fine. But Again, you got to be civil about it. You got to respect other people's opinions. You know, you can't just be, well, you need to do this. Well, listen, I'm not telling you what you need to do, but we can start going down that road if you want. But I'd rather keep it civilized. I have some people have really strong opinions about certain things, and you kind of have to respect them, you know, or they're not going to respect what your opinions are. So this last what's happened last year has really made me question not who I am, but a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, do I really need this? No. Okay, well, it's made in China. I'm not buying it. You know, or no, I don't feel like doing that little dance. I'm not going to do that. You know, we're big people. We can make our own choices. So, like I said, if anybody doesn't need to go to a convention, it's us. We game all the time. You know, and like I said, it's we're better off making a video than running a game if we want to promote um, this game or have fun. You know, so not really to promote the game, but just just show people how much fun we're having with it. I guess this Nolan oil dries pretty quick. I didn't really give it a second thought to go ahead and just throw it on there. I'm pretty experienced in this. If I do something wrong, I'm sure I can fix it. Let's see. We've had restrictions for a while on no costume weapons because man came to con with real guns and talked about killing Power Ranger actor. Wow. That's what happens when you don't spank your kids, folks. What an amateur. Don't you know that if you're going to kill somebody with weapons, you don't announce you're going to do it? You just do it. Jeez. I want to give this another shade, so I'm going to try to guess what I did last night. I want to say this, it's here. This is this color here. I'm a pretty good guesser, so I'm going to guess that's what it is. No real weapons. That stuff just didn't happen when I was I'm not even a kid. I mean, in the 90s, it didn't even happen. I went to college and people had shotguns on their gun racks and in a pickup truck, and nobody would mess with it. Nobody went in and took their gun. I mean, it never would have. It never occurred to anybody. I, I, I don't know. It must be the meds all these people are on. I have no idea. It never occurred to. I mean, I didn't. I'm not a pickup truck type person, but and that was like 1992, 1993. That wasn't like decades ago. Well, okay, yeah, it was. I'm dating myself, but I'm dating you folks too, because most of you are older than me. Most of the people that do this are 10 years older than I am, generally. And that's okay. I get it. Okay, I think we're done other than the hooves and the tail. Let's go ahead and do the tail part. And I had seen a picture on, let me do a search right now. It should come easy. It should come up pretty easy. I just did a search for Russian medieval knights. I'm like, oh, that's a light colored horse. We'll do that. And was it this one? And what color hair does that one have? I really can pretty much get away with anything, but sometimes I just feel like, well, let's see somebody else's example of something. We're gonna we're gonna go grayish because if we do the horse for the leader, and we do decide to do a white one, I'll make a more blonde one. We'll use human hair color terms for horses, even though it's not accurate. But I'm not. Did I just booger this up? I did not. Okay, here we go. 59. Yeah, you're exactly 10 years older than I am. I'll be 50 in 2 months. So they say. I don't feel 50. I think people feel the same age they are their whole life. They just, there's stuff they're just not willing to put up with anymore. Now, let's use a gray as a base. Let's use a gray as a base. 16 June. Me too. I'm the 18th. When's yours? Man, it takes you a long time to type 2 digits. 22nd. Okay, there you go. You are nearly 10 years older than I am. Just shy by 4 days. Yep. It's always hot on your birthday, too, especially where you're at. All right, let's add some black to this. Uh-oh, there was a water source there. An unknown water source. a little bit. And no matter what I do here, it's not, I don't think it's going to look that great until it gets sealed. And then the magic mysteriously happens, brings everything all together. That's why it's called magic, because it's magical. Okay. And let's do some hooves. You could probably call this guy pretty much done at this point. Born on the 20th anniversary of Operation Barbarossa. You seem to stop feeling old, adding years to your age from your mid-20s, except your knees. They age badly. Yeah, I agree with you, Harvey. Yeah, I've said it before. I feel like I'm 25 with 25 years of bullshit I'm not going to put up with anymore. And I'm not old. There's just a bunch of punks running around now. I think that probably feels the same way throughout history. That's always been the case. And that might be especially true for those of us that had older dads. My dad was older than most people's dad when I was born, so I'm almost, say, 20 years older than, maybe not 20, maybe like 15 years older than I was. My dad was, how old was he when I was born? 46? So I had an older dad, so. My doc says my knees are bad because I ran too much. You mean they made you run too much? Yeah. Well, I have now. I'm trying to get out and move some more. That's my personal COVID fight. Not that I'm worried about it or anything, but I'm like, okay, this is the time to get freaking. You need to sit and watch Gran Torino with your mom. All about young punks. I did. I did see it. I did see it with my mom, and we liked it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't know this, but she's a Clint Eastwood fan. And I haven't seen any of his classic movies. I mean, like, I haven't seen any of the Dirty Harry movies. So we need to sit down and watch them. I, uh, I really didn't appreciate him that much growing up because he was a little dry, but I get it now. And yeah, I don't think she's seen him either. She just, I guess she had a thing for him. Hey, he's a good looking guy. So yeah, that's definitely on our list. We did watch Gran Torino. Yep. Thanks for remembering that my mom is my action movie watcher. Definitely. And my daughter too, as long as we watched John Wick, the first one, and then I showed it to my daughter, and because it's rated R, but it's something she couldn't handle, and she loved it. I'm not a fan of Keanu at all, but the gunplay in those movies is worth watching. I enjoy movies with good gunplay. So I enjoy shoot 'em up movies. I really enjoy revenge movies because, it makes sense. I could relate. Luckily, I've had no personal experiences like that, but yeah. Yeah, we did watch Gran Torino. And I did get around to seeing what was the Western that he was in, Unforgiven, and I didn't really like it. I'm not a big Western fan. And yeah, you can't like every movie, you know? Like Ryan. Some of us do listen, remember. Excellent. Well, that could be dangerous if I was making up stories, but it's really easy to, when you tell the truth, it's really easy to keep your lies straight, right? James L., good evening. You've been mass texturing bases. Excellent. Outlaw Josie Wales is a favorite of mine. Is that a sequel from something? I haven't seen that one. Yeah, hundreds of westerns. It's just not my period. I don't hate it. Um, it's not like it's Civil War movies or something like that that I wouldn't be able to. It's all right. Good, bad, and the ugly. I got 90% through the movie, and for some reason I stopped watching it. I don't know. It's is Outlaw Josie Wales a sequel to that or something like that? I don't know if my 6.2 and 15 millimeter pile. You have a 2 millimeter pile of shame finally getting chipped away at. Peter Pig, Pirates of the Moon Bench. Oh. Yeah, we're not going to mention one of the World War II movies. Oh, I'll still wait for it. I'll watch it again. It's just so damn 70s. It's too 70s hippie-ish for me. That doesn't belong in World War II. Okay, here is this fellow finished. Okay, dude, get out of here. Go suit up to fight some Teutonics. All right, got four guys left. One of them is just a standard guy. That's who we're going to do next. That's going to leave the hornblower, the the general, and the flag bearer, which we already have his flag done. Don't mention the mother beautiful word. Hey, you better watch it. I actually found on my channel a couple of fanboys that don't like that movie also, but there's only three of us, so. Oh, you want to take a look at that? Let's see. This is it keeps twisting on me. This is from Little Big Man Studios. I still need to paint the edge a little bit more. It's really weird doing their standards with the method that you have to do. That you have to put it on paper and then put water on the paper, but don't put too much because otherwise it bends over. Um, it's a standalone story. Okay, cool. 2 millimeter pike and shot, surprisingly detailed. Mother Beautiful Bridge. I like all those actors. I just don't like them in that movie. I like all those actors. So, a few months ago, I showed my daughter Don Rickles stuff for the first time, and she just died laughing. Yeah, that's the stuff we grew up with. You make fun of everybody, and you move on. Okay, so we need to pick a shield for this guy. Should I pick the horse color first? Maybe. So I'm going to look at this particular figure and see what other ones we have already in that. And we've got a dark brown. We have a, what's this? Oh, that's the guy with the nose piece, right? We have a medium brown, a dark brown, another dark brown. Well, that means we don't need a dark brown one. We need a lighter colored horse. So let's do a gray. Let's do this guy in gray. So if the horse is going to be gray, let's do the horse first. Then we'll come back and do the shield. Let's pick something like this. Let's pick something like this. And sometimes you'll get an actor that you don't care for him growing up, and then you really start liking him as you get older. And that person for me would be Christopher Walken. I really enjoy him and stuff, especially that movie. What's that called? Dogs of War. That's a great movie. If you guys have not seen that movie, that is a great movie from 1980, I think. I like that, but I like that theme. I like the that venue of mercenaries in Africa. The sky's the limit with that. You can really go in all kinds of different ways with that. But what I really liked about that movie is it showed the behind the scenes of how they got all the equipment in through customs, or how they got it to do the job. So what time is it? It's almost 8. We're gonna have to stop close to 9. I gotta go mow. Ugh. Oh well. It's better than paying somebody to do it. I'm willing to pay somebody twice what I made as a kid. So here's your $10. Oh, you don't want to do it for $10? I'll do it myself. Thank you. I don't have that much property. Ah, so you're a rules buyer. Sword and spear. I watched a demo of that, but I don't think he's got. Wait, yeah, it's the one I'm thinking of. I don't think he has really defined army list. I, if it's the one I'm thinking of, the latter because it's one set for many periods. Christopher Walken is in the Seven Psychopaths. I bought that movie on DVD for my birthday last month. How is it? Is it good? Hopefully, he plays one of the psychopaths. He can do that really well. don't get excited for modern movies, but I'm looking forward to doing. You know, I never saw the original one. I remember way back in the day, my sister was going to take me to the movie, and she's like, No, you'll never understand it." So I never got to see it. Okay, but then there's like voice weapons, so yeah, no, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. 84, right? Original one came out in 84 or something like that. It's good. Same director as in Bruges, another black comedy. Okay. I don't buy movies because after I see them, I don't want to see them again. Um, and it's very limited. So I was doing a little bit of surfing yesterday. I know I talked about doing pre-feudal Scots, and yes, they're on my list somewhere. So I watch more war games and RPGs on here than any TV. Absolutely. What was the movie he starred with Bob Newhart? I've seen Bob Newhart in a movie. I'm sure he was in some, but I'm no help. Um, so I did a little bit of pre-feudal Scots. So I did a little bit of surfing. Where's my pre-feudal Scots guy? Is he still here? Yeah, the guy I'm going to use is the general. This guy here. He's actually a Norman, but it's that time period. This is probably who I would do. Maybe add a little cape to him. This is an old. Um, Give me a second. Alternative armies now. Old tabletop games figure to go with the rest of the guys that I have that are a mix of Essex and QRF. QRF? Yeah. And these are the pre-feudal Scots, so they would match up with the Normans. The guys that match up with the feudal English, I would have to make the feudal English because Mitch doesn't. Mitch has the Scots of that period, the Scots common, but that's fine because they're also on my list. But anyhow, see, isn't everything on my list? But so I'm trying to figure out, okay, what exactly which guy I was going to do for this, and and I pretty much narrowed this down to be a guy named Duncan, and his last name is Canmore. And I do a search for it, and I find out there's a whiskey called Canmore, and I'm like, oh man, I got to get some of that and have that while I play that army. But it's not available in the States. I'm like, well, that stinks because that would have been perfect. You know, you have a freaking beverage of the same name of the guy you're playing. I mean, how cool is that? But yeah, they're on my list. I might have an aneurysm and then, wake up and do that army instead of the Pope, but they're on my short list. I like Fast Pike a lot. They're a lot of fun. And then I could just run around doing bad Scottish accents. Sorry, I'm doing the best I can. I am born in America, so you'll have to excuse that. I could do all those accents well with some training. But, I don't have a trainer. So I know that for those of us that are over here, at least for myself, some Scottish accents are extremely hard to understand. Just extremely hard. Spey Tenny is a very nice whiskey. Lafroig. 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 Sounds like a Scottish frog. If you prefer drinking smoky ghosts, I like everything. I've acquired a taste for things that are difficult to drink. You just drink them slower. It's not a race. But I'm warning you, I don't drink anything without ice in it. I just don't. I live in too hot a place. I'm too hot blooded. I'm warm all the time. Speaking of which, why is my fan not on? And but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that there was a whiskey named after the same king I would do. That's just too cool, but not available in the States. Yeah, Lafroig is definitely, I've seen that around here. You know. Ach, a Tanu. Well, if you spell things out phonetically for me, I could say them. I might do a better job saying them out. But they're on my list. They'll be in the next four armies. I'll do that. He said it. Ach, a Tanu. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's not. I like little boys, but yeah, like if I see French words, I can probably figure out how to say them, but the Gaelic tinged words are very difficult because I don't really have a frame of reference to work off of. But I want to say things correctly if I can. Why not? It's part of the experience. I just don't want to eat Scottish food. Sorry, folks. Oh, Mr. Smith, the Scots come out. Good thing I don't want to talk bad about him. I don't talk bad about anybody. It's all in fun, anyways. You guys know that. Malcolm Canmore was a Scottish king. Yeah, of course. The database of Scottish historical sites is called Canmore. Lafroy egg, Lafroy egg, Lafroy egg, Lafroy egg. Oh, and now it's the fried egg. Got it. My palate is too mature for these smoky whiskeys, but they're very pure. Clint Eastwood was drafted in the Army during the Korean War, served as swimming instructor in California. I knew he was in the Korean War. I didn't know that that's what he did, though. Yeah. Lafroig. I don't remember the last time I had a drink. It's been a couple of weeks. It's not important. I just don't like being told I can't have it. So I wouldn't do well in that society. I wouldn't make a very good obedient slave. Let's put it that way. And I really don't do well in this, where it's like they were talking about that Handmaid's Tale that I was, everybody gets to drink except me. No, I don't do well in that environment. I guess I'd have to be beaten a few times before I learn. They can take my booze. Oh, yeah. Preach it, brother. They can take my booze, but if they come after my caffeine, it's personal. They're both personal, but yeah, don't take my caffeine. Oh, hell no. Oh, well. I do that a lot though. I'll think like, oh, I wonder who, if I built this army, what would I do with this? And I start surfing. And I really enjoy doing that. That's why I do not like pre-made army packs. I want to figure it all out on my own. That's a huge appeal for me. Okay, let's bring this up a level. You like Essex packs, but I still mix and match and use the leftovers for RPGs. Yeah, my Irish were a big part of them were Essex, but I mixed and matched with other things, including a huge guy from Museum, some guys from Tabletop. They work really well. You too, Harvey. Have a great day. Lafroye to you too. Yeah, I want to say things right if I can. Why not? It's part of the experience. I didn't check the news of the have the island French and the mainland French gotten into a war yet over fish and chips? Alternative armies make okay Renaissance. Love their fantasy and sci-fi. Man, it's so old school. Huh. Yeah, old school's okay. My papal army has a lot of old school figures, including a lot of those alternative armies now, tabletop figures. I'm gonna go. I need to get some a liquid. Getting a little parched. I'll be right back. Does the papal list have a war wagon for those fighting platforms they used to have? Yes. Yes, they can have one. The Jersey militia were filmed firing muskets at the French fishing boats. Yeah, that's not how you escalate a conflict. Not if you want to win. I remember reading that those Italian armies were very fond of carts with standards being a rally point. Yeah. I don't like saying it either. Skirmishers. I don't like saying it either. Not if it's not a Greek army. It just seems too weird. I had somebody one time that was from Greece, who spoke Greek and said, "Oh, that's not. You don't say it." I've heard it said every which way, and then he told me had a different, totally different take, and I said, "I can't say it that way, because first of all, nobody would understand what I'm saying, because it's totally it's silly." Yep. One of my favorite events that we've done is themes is Saloy silliness. I like that one. What was that conflict that the was it the UK and Iceland did, or was it Ireland and Iceland, or those cod wars or whatever? I want to say if somebody makes a game or something for that. That's weirdest episode of Jersey Shore ever. Can't say I've ever seen an episode of that. Those people have no relation to the rest of America. How about light infantry? Light infantry is what auxilia should be called. Yeah, British should roll out the situation. Yeah, weirdest episode of Jersey Shore ever. That's right. Nice one. I hate reality shows because they pretend to be reality and it's all scripted. It's like wrestling. It's like assuming wrestling is real. Like, come on. Okay, yeah, I thought there was a game for it. Or what's that supposed little thing that Canada and I think it's Canada and Denmark that they supposedly exchanged alcohol on some island. It's a COD Wars game, one of the war game magazines. I think the Germans should send a couple of ships as well. Not sure which side we'd be on, but that would be left out. They would team up against you guys just for showing up. That's what my money's on. You showed up late to the party. Get them. Who's this new guy? I don't know. Let's kick him off our block. Okay. Auxiliary used to be called light heavy infantry. Yeah. Yep. We're pretty thick with the French right now. I don't know. Don't be fighting in Europe, man. That's not where the problems are. And you guys know it. I'm telling you, I've got to sit down one day and look at Impetus and just play some on my own and see if there's any anything there. I got to play these games where you don't have to conform and just see how they go, because I really don't like the conforming stuff. We do it, but it just feels so odd, so shoehorned. So, and I have the rules. I said I'd try it. I would use one element as one element, like in DBA, and you just have the distances, have all the ranges, have all the movements, have the playing surface. Done. I think I did the math one time, and it breaks down to the board being 18 inches by 24 or something like that. So just play on a 24 by 24. You know, I think the depth is different. Just give it a shot. I actually have some modern friendships. They're I don't remember what they are right now. They're little frigates, or I think they're little frigates for my modern naval stuff. But again, I've got two fleets I could be playing that with. I just haven't gone through and felt like learning shipwreck. I'm just lazy when it comes to learning rules. So, there's that guy, there's always those people that sit around and read rules all day. I'm the opposite. I don't even want to read one. I don't know. Guess I don't want to bad enough. Told you I was more of a painter than a player. So I don't know when I start working on the Papal Army what order I'm going to do thing. On one hand, I want to do the knights first because it'll add some color. They're all mercenaries, so they're not going to have a theme. On the other hand, I want to do the two units of spearmen because I'm pretty sure their shields are all going to be the same. Each unit, they'll all be pulled from a different area. They're probably going to be the same figure too. They just will, their garments will be painted differently. But I don't want to do the Pope first because I want to make sure that that'll have the right look. But I got the right Pope figure, I think, and we'll do some green stuff on him. Don't have to do a tremendous amount of it, and yeah, that'll be fun. And then we can see what happens with litters when they get into battle, because that's going to be an interesting wrinkle. Kind of like when you throw in elephants for the first time, or hordes, or they just behave differently on the battlefield. Where is the active white? No, there isn't any. All right. Building one aircraft carrier together. What would you call it? The Graf Richelieu? Is everybody using that Eurofighter over there these days? That's boring. Who wants to do modern wargaming? Every country uses the same equipment. Boring. I don't care if it's practical. It's not. It's not exciting for wargaming purposes. Graph de Gaulle. There you go. You contend that light horse, Saloy, and ox would be more loved if they had short range attack. They would. They would be. You can bet that if I made my own rules, they would. Maybe not Auxilia, but definitely. Used to be fleet manager for Typhoon UK. Yes, we're buying more. None of that American crap for us. You don't have to buy American stuff, but French should have French planes. German should have German planes. English should have English planes. I'm sorry, for wargaming, that's what I want to see. You know, I want to see Mirages and Tornadoes, even though Tornadoes was a venture of UK German thing. I want people to use their own planes. It's cool that way for wargaming. I don't care about practicality. No, we don't want you having American planes. We shouldn't export any of them. They should be ours. Even if we're best buds, just from a wargaming standpoint. Same reason I've said it before. If I'm gaming Commonwealth forces in Northwest Europe, I'm not putting U.S. stars on the roofs of their vehicles. It doesn't seem right. It's just, you know, it's not my thing. Fly your own planes by all means. And I'm fine with you saying American crap. I don't drive an American automobile. Never have. Shh. We don't have the best quality control here. You know what I'm saying? So I had somebody that shared a video the other day, and the video was along the lines of what happened to the all of the equipment that the East Germany had. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then I look at all the comments on the site, and then I look at his comment, and I'm like, oh, this guy's like a devout Marxist. I'm like, no, no, I'm not watching your shit. Sorry. I've never been to Germany, but if you think things were better in East Germany than they are now, I don't want to listen to what you have to say. Sorry. As I like to say, Marxists don't matter. It's actually one of my handles. Oh, Let's add a little bit of white to this. Let's see where this goes. This is time consuming, but man, I really like doing this. Some people, I don't like painting horses. I do. I really do. I don't mind painting horses. I don't mind riding horses. I don't care for smelling them too much. They're stinky. So are we without deodorant? Maybe we need deodorant for horses. Where would you put it? In the stable, no doubt. And the funny thing is I've only been painting horses since I've been doing DBA because I never had a need to paint a horse before that. It's just flesh by in another color. UK is developing Tempest as a UK only next generation aircraft. I hope to make it look as cool as the World War II Tempest. I love those Typhoons and I love those old Typhoons and Tempests. Really cool things. Used to be fleet manager for Typhoon UK. Oh. See, I'm just out of touch with the modern stuff because I don't war game it. Next time you're at NATO conference, I'll bring it up. UK has F-35s on their carriers. You guys should have your own planes. It's cool to have your own planes. It's not like the UK doesn't have a clue how to make aircraft. You know, it's not like you don't have a clue how to make beautiful aircraft either. Man, I don't know how your modern ones look, but nothing prettier than the Spitfire. Um, you've heard the Westerners think the East is ruining their country. Yeah, but no, this site was actually the opposite. That the Westerners ruined the East from the Eastern standpoint. This guy's just a Marxist. I mean, no. Sorry. You don't want to give people freedom. There's something wrong with you. After falling out of love with DBA, use command colors. In each of the miniatures, they allow light infantry and LMI limited shooting ability. Okay. Command and colors is fun. It's fun because of the. I don't know that it represents a, a, a the conflict properly. You feel you walk away like you feel like you just played with Handel's troops, but it's a fun game, you know. I had the original one, and then I spent. I remember it was on New Year's Eve. I wasn't feeling well one year. This might have been 10 years ago. Might have been longer than that. And I put all the decals on. And at one of the last shows, I finally sold it because I never played it. And Mitch has it, so if I ever want to play it, we'll just play his version. But it's a little too basic. I don't know. What makes the game is what cards you pull and where you can play them, and you have to make a best of a bad decision, a bad situation. So we enjoy those kind of problems. We've just never gotten around to playing it. If we're playing that, we're not playing DBA. If we're not playing DBA, we're probably not making a video, and you guys can't follow along. So there's that. Yeah, these Italian nights, I'm going to show you guys this. It's a good thing about the wet palette. I don't have to worry about that drying out. It's not like I can't just mix it up just the same. Let me show you some of these Italian knights. And I have an Italian Cadala army to do, and they would be beautiful, but whatchamacallit already has that army. Joe. Come on, I know you're in here. Here's some. These are old tabletop games. Old, I don't know how old these are. Alliance Miniatures. P.O. Box, Des Moines, Iowa. That's what's on the back here. That's who has sold these. So these are probably from the 1980s, I'm guessing. It's okay, I'm from the 1980s as well. Let's take a look at some of these guys. So, already the alloy is very bendy, but you can see how diminutive this guy is compared to this. Well, but I think they're going to. This is a very tall horse by 15 millimeter standards. It's a very tall horse. These guys will mix in fine with other things, and I think they'll paint up okay. But I think I'm going to get rid of these lances and just put my own, because I don't want, these things are way too bendy already. Is it? Well, it's not too bad, but if you're gonna do it, just go ahead and do it right off the bat. And oh, I didn't realize that they had some headwear, but these guys are charging. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm probably gonna replace these. I'm probably gonna replace these lances. So these are some of the knights I'm going to be using for the papal forces, and morph them into a communal Italian army as well. So yeah, but these are old school. There's not many details, so they should paint up really fast. So that's the other advantage of using old school figures. You don't spend all day painting all kinds of accoutrements on them, because they just don't have them. And they will look just fine painted up. The gray horse. That's how you spell gray, with an E. I don't like the American spellings of things. Okay, let's keep bringing him up. So I do enjoy painting second tier figures. Like those would be. Nobody's going out and saying, "Oh man, my favorite figures are tabletop games." They're not. They're not. They're not by today's standards the best. But I have a bunch of them that I might as well use, and they paint up just fine, and they paint up easy. So why not use them? Now we're getting close to 9, and like I said, I've got to sign off at 9. 'Cause I got to go mow. I got to do a couple of things today that aren't sitting around in my room painting. Not that I wouldn't mind to just continue to do this, but we do need to get that stuff done. Try to get the mowing done while it's not a complete sweat box out there. But I was an hour and a half late to this show. It was after I did the show last night. I stopped at 10. I went online and did some gaming. Hadn't done a whole lot of that. So played me some Division, and stayed up till like midnight. So I slept in a little bit. Okay, we're about done with this guy. We may come back and tinker with him later, but I think color-wise we're probably fine on him. Let's add a little bit more of the face. Brighten it up a little bit. I have a force figure, so on a short side. I compensate by putting a shim on the short figure to bring it up eye level. There you go. You can do that too. Yeah. I was just reading some Marxists complaining that orcs are stand-ins for non-Europeans. The obvious prejudice escaped them. Marxists shouldn't be allowed to type in the computer because they don't get any. That's how it works, right? One man, one to mow. One to mow a... Okay. I don't know what that is. That must be something from your old country. I can't say the old country because it's not my old country. If things have gone a little bit different in 1588, then maybe it would have been my old country, but oh man, I don't know that the little jingle. Maybe that's a commercial over there. We only have terrible commercials here. God, they're bad. Okay, we're gonna do a shield and then we'll call it a day. Gray horse. Let's look at let's look for almond shaped shields. This one looks very similar to another one that I have. So that one's out. Yeah, it looks really similar to this one. Yeah, there's just a bunch of more little crosses on it. Yeah, so I can do without that one. Not because I don't like it, it's just too similar to another one. Likewise, these two are too similar as well. Maybe the purple one. Let's do the purple one. This one here is the one that's reserved for the Nevsky figure. If I do him as that, if I give him a shield, I'm not certain that I will, but oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's make sure the center is okay. Got all these cuts here. I don't want this to go the wrong way. Let's cut over here. Marxist with a computer. What is that? It's somebody living on somebody else's teat. I'm actually going to have to replace this blade. We're not going to throw this one away, though. We're going to keep it handy because there's nothing wrong with it. I just can't use it for this. No, we want one blade, not two. Oh, you don't want to go back in? There we go. All right. There we go. I'll make sure we don't booger this up. All right. Let's cut the corner here, kind of in the middle. And we'll do the same on this side. You would not be able to do this if this did not have this laminate, thin laminate cover on it, because your fingers would be sticking to all this stuff because this backside is sticky. It's funny that line is not a perfectly straight line between the edge and the rounding corner. You can't cut the whole thing in one swoop. Oh, that's pretty darn good. That may have been the best job I've done on one. All right, let's get our something we're going to burnish with and the tweezers. Some clean water. Uh-oh. So we're going to mow, and the good thing I'm looking forward to about mowing is I'm going to be able to pick up my Dan Jones War of the Roses book where I left off. It's getting pretty good. The war hasn't started yet, but it's interesting. It's interesting for something I thought it wasn't going to be so interesting. But he does a really good job with his stuff. So let this sit for a little bit. And there's a little bit of white showing where I painted it. So I'm going to have to get close there and kind of fix that up a little bit slowly. But the man with the purple shield. There you go. Anyhow, this is where we'll pick up next time we catch up. And it's just him and these two and this guy. And that's all we got left of these Russians. Maybe next time I come in, I'll try to find where the heck my rest of my Russians are yet. So the whole rest of the army that's on foot is definitely done. So, but anyways, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the company, and we'll catch you guys next time. Not tomorrow morning. We will be going out of town, so there will not be any of that painting that we normally do on Sunday morning. But anyhow, we'll catch you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.